Hello and welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Fitness. I am the Wizard CZ and we are here, part of the Card Subject to Change and Shotgun Wrestling Radio collaboration here. And of course, I'm not alone. I couldn't do this without my accountability partner, Mr. Zach Takis. Zach, how you feeling, my friend?
I'm all right. It's been rough 48 hours for my family, so I'm doing as I'm doing, but yeah, it's one of my favorite uncles passed away last night, so it's been rough time today, but we're doing.
That's all you can do, right, man?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. So thankfully, he was 80 years old, so he lived pretty great life. And I was telling my wife and my folks earlier, I was like, well, the one good thing will be about this, and it kind of sucks that it has to happen this way. At funerals, you usually get to see a lot of family you don't see very often. So that'll be kind of nice here whenever those arrangements get made to be able to see a lot of people we haven't seen for a while. And my parents will come back from Arizona right now too for a little bit, so that'll be nice to see them. Haven't seen them since the end of December, so.
And of course, our condolences to you and your family. That's never easy to go through for any family member. So, but we have, as we usually do, a guest in the house, and I'm excited to catch up with you, Zach. I'm excited to hear this gentleman's fitness journey as well as a little bit of wrestling. Welcome in with us, the Death Dealer. How you doing today, sir?
Good. How are you guys doing? I'm sorry to hear about your uncle there, Zach. Death is always hard to deal with, and especially when it's a favorite family member. Sorry to hear that. Nothing but the best for you and your family. Otherwise, just been at the house, getting up early, staying up late.
I've been seeing that, man. I'm up on my workout days, I'm up usually about 4:55 is when my alarm goes off. I feel like I've seen you up earlier than that, though. Based on the times I've seen you post, I'm like, I try to do the math. I'm like, damn, man, that's like 4 a.m.
Yeah, so I'm kind of a psycho right now because like Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll be up a quarter to 4 to go in and do cardio for just 30 minutes, and then go to work, come home, be with the kids, then go to the gym that night. So yeah, those are long days, but Fridays and Wednesdays like today are pretty forgiving.
I couldn't do that early. I don't stay up late anymore. I don't get up super early. Earliest I'll get up is maybe 6:30. And even then, if I have my alarm set for that early, I'll look at it and be like, the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
And just go right back to sleep.
See, for me and Death Dealer here, 6:30 is what we call sleeping in.
That's Saturday morning for me. I'll be
right
up.
when you get to sleep in until 6:30 or 7 on Saturday morning, it's like you won the day right there.
Yeah. I'll be up at the gym for arm day at 6:30. So every Saturday.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But that's what especially for, I guess that's what having kids kind of calluses your body for. It's like you just don't sleep in anymore. Like even when you don't have the kids, your body's still waking up between 5 and 6:30 easily.
Yeah, and they take over number one priority, like right away. So it's like, and then everything, like life falls after that, and then finally it's me. So it's either I don't go or I find a way to make it work. And those early mornings and late nights is just kind of how I have to make it work. And
right.
I made a post about that a while ago, just having to shoehorn in my fitness time and my me time and just trying to stay healthy. Not just for me, but I'm a strong believer in like trying to be as professional as I can be. And if you saw the first half of my career, I wasn't in the greatest shape.
It's fun to look back. It's fun to look back at old pictures of us from like those early 2012 era shows type of thing. And just kind of see everybody's progress from even like those early years that you've been in the business.
Yeah, and even that picture I posted just promoting the show of me like from, last month and from 2016 with Paul Orndorff. I mean, I was not great. That is when I was in the military too. So it's like, like I was not motivated to do any sort of workout at that time.
That's
So what was
most
it
of my
for
life,
you?
but until recently.
What was it for you then that finally kind of spiked your motivation to get on this journey that you've been on?
Um, I watched back a few matches, matches I wish I could have back because I feel like it's a discredit to my opponent. I don't know if you remember Marshall Scott, but
Yep.
he is like he was like the technician in Iowa for a while, and like I watch my matches back with him, and I'm bumping and feeding, and I'm just watching the TV. I'm like, dude, get up, get up. Like it's that was eye opening, and then watching that number on the scale keep climbing and climbing. I'm like, brother, if you hit 300 pounds, we're done until you get back under that. You need to get control of this. And then not only that, I was getting, that was maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years before I got married. So, I look slim and trim for your wedding pictures too. So it's like on top of that, we got to the point where like, okay, we need a personal trainer. We don't know how to put workouts together. I still don't. But I'm like, we get to Anytime Fitness and they have their trainers there, and we meet Justin Pearson, who runs JP Fitness here out of Des Moines, Altoona area. He really got me started on like, but we only met 2 days a week, I think. And there's so much you can't do. There's limitations there. And then like scheduling conflicts as far as like, he's training upper body. I wanted to train lower body those days, and then I don't think I took advantage of that, but it was a step. It's a step in the right direction. And like not only for wrestling, for myself, I want to look good for the wife too. I feel like it's my obligation not to let myself completely go like I had. And that's just what I want for her. And then now that we have 2 kids, it's like, okay, let's see dad be drinking protein shakes instead of beer. Let's grow up on that. Let's see dad, lifting weights and benching and stuff like that instead of, oh, where's dad at? He's at the bar or he's working all the time. Dad's going to have an impact on life, and whether they're going to follow with me or whatever, it's up to them. But those boys are my world. So if it means, doing as much as I can right now, tracking macros and calories and my weight and everything like that, and to do so, then yeah, that's what I'm willing to do.
Well, man, thank God, like you mentioned protein shakes, thank God those things taste so much better than they did like when we were growing up. Like I remember growing up and like you'd see your parents or whatever, maybe sometimes talking about it. And you like I remember growing up like the Slim Fast shakes were super popular growing up, and it's like even those did not taste that great by any stretch of the imagination. But like now you can get ones that taste like Reese's. You can get ones that taste like Oreos. You can get Chips Ahoy. I have a Cinnabon one that tastes like cinnamon rolls. I have a Nutter Butter one that tastes like Nutter Butter, and it's still like gets you your protein intake that you need. But it's like, yeah, to be able to have that, it's like, damn, this is actually pretty good taste in protein shake.
Yeah, Ghost is really good at like incorporating outside flavors and familiar brands into their
Ghost and Quest. Quest is the other one that's really good. I eat their protein bars a lot. They have really excellent protein bars.
I'm on to they're called David bars. They have the best like protein to calorie ratio like in the market. So it's like 150 calories for 28 grams of protein. And you just can't beat that. So like I'll have one of those as a snack at work, and protein shake. I'm putting 2 scoops in my protein shakes twice a day, and one in the morning and one after the workout, and then my morning overnight oats. I'll mix in like Greek yogurt and oatmeal, and then I got this powdered peanut butter and a scoop of protein I'll mix in there and set it overnight, and it's one of my favorite breakfasts right now. So good. It doesn't take any effort in the morning. You just
Yeah.
and there it is.
Yeah, I'm a big breakfast burrito guy, so I make these high protein sheet pan burritos that have just ever since I've found that recipe, that's been my absolute go to because it takes maybe 4 minutes to heat up total in the microwave after you take them out of the freezer, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's my only problem with like the breakfast burritos that you freeze in that is I don't like reheated eggs. I can't do it.
I don't feel like, at least with the burritos, I don't feel like you notice it as much. But then again, I don't mind reheated eggs, so that's kind of my preference too. So
going back, you're talking about protein shakes, and I just picked up a couple over the weekend. I've got a C4 that is a Reese's peanut butter cup, which I had tried this morning. That is fantastic. I got a cinnamon toast crunch one, which, good Lord, that is the sweetest thing I've ever had. And so I need to dilute that a little bit next time I have it. But I've asked this to other people. What do you mix your powder with when you do the shakes?
Milk.
Milk?
No. I mean, there's a place in the Des Moines area. It's called Fresh Fit Meals. And you can just go in there and grab a meal, and it lists your calories, macros, even I think the sodium's on there too. And then they have smoothies too, and they list all that stuff. And they got good stuff, but it doesn't. There's either too much carbs or too much fat, and just because it's labeled as healthy doesn't mean it's healthy.
Right.
There's this big fad of protein stuff coming out, like, oh, we got protein, toaster strudel, we got protein pasta, and you look at the back compared to the other one, you got 2 extra grams of protein. What is that doing for me? So
sounds like you have a wrestling match going on upstairs in your living room there.
I know. I'm people down. Yeah.
I mean, with 2 boys, it wouldn't shock me.
No. Yeah, they're pretty rowdy. They're all boy, that's for sure.
So I know you were talking a little bit about, when you first started working out and you still kind of feel like you don't know how to put together like a workout, type of schedule or whatever. Have you tried kind of inputting anything? I know everybody has mixed views on it, but have you tried doing anything with like ChatGPT and saying, hey, I would like to do something like this and see what it kind of spits out for you? Because that's actually the workout routine I've been going. I had it spit out a 3-day workout schedule for me. And each time now when I'm working out, I'm writing down in the chat what I'm doing on what days, along with like my weights and like how much weight. And then at the end of it, and I hit enter, it'll say, okay, for next time, do this, and this type of deal, which I found pretty helpful. So the last couple of weeks I've been doing it.
So funny you mentioned that. Last August I did do that. But it's kind of silly how I put it in though. I want to pick up anybody and everybody for the Razor's Edge. So I just said, hey, give me a 4-day split of workouts that could help me do this move. And it did. And I'm like, keep it under, keep it between 45 minutes and an hour long, but yeah, I feel like there is a good base there that I was able to maintain or build on. And then I got into what I'm tracking my meals on. It's called Macro Factor.
Okay.
And they actually dropped a Macro Factor workouts app that's paired with the tracking app. Mm-hmm. And it gives you your workouts. It gives you time. Do you want to look good? Do you want to build strength, or do both? So I'm finishing up a 6-week program right now this week, and it's a lot of repetitions, but I'll just okay. You did like 135 on bench last week. We can do 145 this week, and it just keeps fluctuating reps and weight and everything in between, and everything's just memorized, and then it goes off from your weight to the app, and I'm weighing myself only twice a week, but the app also, like when you set I want to be this weight in like June, say I weigh 255 right now, I want to be 240 by June, and it's like, okay, here's your calories, and then you weigh in. Like I said, I weigh in twice a week. You step on a scale, and it's like, okay, you gained a little bit of weight, so let's take off 80 calories, and then it'll play with your macros too, and then you're just playing with that throughout the week. And so it's constantly building, and then there's some times where I see, oh, you need to add 100 calories. I'm not doing that because it's not going to work. So it is, use your best judgment, but like also like it does give you some goals to shoot for, and it is fun to, like, when you do have meals in mind. Like I'm basically at this point just eating so much chicken throughout the day, just to like. I'm supposed to be hitting like 278 grams of protein a day, and chicken's really good for that. And then like the carbs and fats are pretty low, not eliminated, but low. And yeah, it's just Macro Factor has been so great to track everything. It's helped me so much because when I first started tracking, my wife actually, she tracked everything for me when we got pregnant with our first son. She's like, well, I like playing with numbers and everything, so I'll just track for you, and then you'll come home from work, you'll have a meal ready and everything like that. So God bless her for that. But after he was born, like all the attention goes to the kid, and now I'm forced into tracking myself and actually learning it. And that's something I wish I would have taken advantage of years ago, but didn't. But I was able to do that. And then I try to cheat so much and be like, what's the quickest way to lose body fat or weight or anything like that? And it's just, there's so many factors that go into it. And when it comes down to it, what works for me is just whole foods and just trying to make sure that like, I'm not cutting out any of the macros, your carbs, your fats, and proteins. But if I have like today, like, I tracked, I had my day planned and it didn't work out. And I'm like, you know what, whatever. It's a rest day. I'm going to get back to it tomorrow. It's fine. One day's not going to put 8 pounds on me. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. So tomorrow I'll just do better. And I'm just aiming to have more good days than bad days. So,
well, and here's kind of my thought too. If a guy like The Rock has a cheat day, then everybody else in the world is also allowed a cheat day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like
his cheat days are
insane. My God! Like when he shows like the stacks of pancakes that he eats, like
the sushi rolls that are in front of him, and the cookies, and it's like, yeah, man, like that's crazy. But
right, like RIP your toilet later on. Geez.
There's like YouTubers there's really one YouTuber I follow. No, there is two. That you can tell like when they're posting their cheat meal videos, it's like, I'm gonna do so and so's diet for 24 hours. I'm like, that's your cheat day. Don't lie to me. So it's like so insane because whoever they're tracking, they do eat like a lot of food, and it's the whole video is about them turning their lives around and everything like that, and him encouraging them. And it's all shot very well, but it's like, it's a cheap meal for you. It's a cheap day. It's fine. But of course, they all look like $1 million too.
Right.
So I want to touch on something you've been talking about that I'm only now kind of learning about. Doing the DDPY program, they talk about this, and there's a couple of lectures with the Transformation University that I haven't watched yet, and I need to get back to them, and I will. But talking about macros, for those of us who don't know, what are macros and how do you track them?
So at the base level, it is just your protein, your fat, and your carbs. Your proteins being like your chicken, beef, all that good stuff. Fats, that you can find that in cheeses. Avocado is good for that. It's the chewy part on a steak. Your carbs are going to be your breads, typically, and fruit like blueberries and bananas. Those are really good for it. But at the base level, it's what your body needs to run. Your fats will help you sleep. Your carbs will help you get energy, and your protein will help you burn muscle and give you energy. And I could be way off on all this stuff, and I could be corrected in the comments really quickly. But at my base knowledge, that's kind of what I've gathered over these last 8 years or so.
Okay. And I'm just curious because, like I said, it's something that's been talked about, particularly this month. So with the Transformation University program through DDPY, the second month of the semester is always nutrition month. So that's, of course, I'm behind on lectures on nutrition month, the one I need to focus on the most for myself personally. But I will have some time this weekend to catch up on them. I believe things have just been crazy, but I was just curious. I know if I'm asking the question, somebody else has got to be asking it too.
Yeah. And I still have questions, there's even what's right for me, like how much protein should I really be putting into my body? Because you put too much and your body just ends up storing it, and it doesn't end well. You could add on fat. It just stores it in different ways. You don't know what your body's going to do with it. It's like you can't spot reduce fat. And that's a lesson that I learned early on, is that you can do tricep extensions till your arms fall off. Doesn't mean that it's going to take the fat from there.
Right.
I can do cardio all day long. It doesn't mean it's going to take it from my belly. It's going to take it from my face or my legs or wherever. But the biggest thing that really struck me over these, last couple of years is that the boring part about a journey like this is the dieting, is the calorie tracking. It's because that should be mundane. That's going to be your most boring part about this, is going to be your meals and stuff. It's not going to be exciting. It's not going to be fun.
Right.
There's certain times where meals do taste good, and those are the meals you're going to make so much you might get sick of those. And it's just, at the end of the day, if you feel good about yourself and you can see a little bit of a difference, that's all that really matters. And you might not see the difference that you've made over the last 6 months. I know I haven't seen the difference until I sent pictures, I think earlier this week, of me doing the exact same pose at the gym, before December to now. I could see there's a definition difference. There's a size difference. There's just little details that are just so hard to see when you're looking in the mirror, and body dysmorphia hits me so hard at times. It's I'm training so hard and I go look in the mirror. It's dude, it doesn't look like I haven't done anything. But
yeah,
does that mean I stop? I can't stop, right?
Yeah.
You gotta just keep pushing through it and fight those voices that are telling you no. That's the hardest part about this, is either getting into the gym, or it's telling your mind that like
Yeah.
I'm too tired. I can't. By all means, they'll take your rest days, but I'm too tired to do this. I don't feel like I'm making enough progress in the week that I've been doing this, and that's why like New Year's resolutioners fall off so quickly. It's because
Mm-hmm.
like it's not fun. This is
Yeah.
not fun. But
Yeah.
you guys are proof that it does work.
Yeah.
Like when you do just even a little bit, like it tweaking, like going no sugar or something like that, keeping that junk out of your bodies. That's where you see the most gains is when you do get the best foods that you can to get available to you, and put that into your cycle. So
Well, and you had kind of mentioned too, about the like the weigh-ins and stuff, and that's kind of like for me lately. I try not to, and I feel like this is something I wish more people would do. Don't focus so much. I feel like I mentioned this a lot, but don't focus so much on a number because I feel like if people get dead set on a number, and it's fine. It's great to have a number. It's great to have a goal for yourself and what you want to set. But as long as you're feeling good and you feel like you have seen a difference, or even if people are telling you, "Hey, you look a lot different than you did the last time I saw you," then you're like, "Okay, I am making some progress." It's like I know even for me, like when I first started this journey, it was maybe a month and a half or so into it. I didn't feel like I really noticed anything. And then I remember, seeing my mother-in-law and she's like, "Hey, it looks like you've lost some weight since I last saw you," or whatever. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe I should hop on the scale and kind of see what it's looking like. Because if people are kind of noticing that, oh, okay, then it's, something's clicking. Because obviously, Alex, like for me and you, and like people that see us every day too, they're not really going to see it either.
Right.
Because like both of our wives, I'm sure don't really see much of a difference because again, they see us on a daily basis.
mm-hmm. See, I'm trying to just wear baggy clothes as much as I can around her so she doesn't really see what I've done until it's like time for bed, and then she can notice, and then it's like okay, then it's like now she can give me encouragement of, yeah, you are, I can see a difference, or she gives me a hug and her arms can get a little tighter, it's like. And then the weight thing, there's so many factors. And a YouTuber, his name's Will Tennyson. I watched him and he went over this. Like he got really into like this sleep routine, and he wears this ring that will like track your sleeping. And I mean, he's all into bodybuilding, and I'm not in that world at all. I just want to wrestle without a shirt on. But he tracked everything, and then it was just his sleep that was a little off. And then once he was able to get sleep in a good rhythm, like hitting REM sleep is really important and all this other stuff. And this video is out there and everybody can go watch it. But he, at the end of it, like his that did affect what he saw on the scale. So it's not only just it's how much water have you drank today, how well can you sleep, and what kind of foods are you eating, what kind of workouts are you doing, did you move around more or less than yesterday. Those do play a factor. Like odds are I'm gonna weigh in probably maybe a pound and a half, maybe even more tomorrow than I did today, just because I'm not working out today, and I kind of fell off my diet plan today. So I'll probably weigh in more tomorrow, and then like I'll get a good arm pump in on Saturday, and then I'll be like, oh man, I do feel good, and then I'll step on the scale. It's like, dude, you gained 2 pounds. Well, yeah, you also gained a half of an inch around your arm.
And that's the thing, Zach. I'm glad you mentioned not focusing on the numbers. So many people, when they're trying to lose weight or they're trying to get in better shape, they focus on the weight specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm guilty of that, and I'll be honest, I've stepped on the scale maybe 3 times in the last month, and I've fluctuated right around the 425, 430 mark, which is where I've been kind of stagnant at for a while. But I'm also doing measurements like chest, stomach, waist, legs, arms, because that's part of the DDPY program. But Between January and February, I lost an inch or two around my chest and my waist and pretty much everywhere but my arms. And I haven't done the measurements yet for the next month, but I'm still a week out from when I would do them next. So I'm anxious to see where I'm at next Wednesday when I do the measurements then. But even like the photos that I took, they have you take 6 different photos, and there were 2 where I've sent them to Zach. I posted them online where I could just see not a huge difference, but the belly was a little bit more slimmed down. I could bend over further than I did last month. So you really just can't focus on the numbers. You've got to focus on the whole picture.
Yep. Yep. There's so much more to fitness than just the number on the scale. Yeah. Because you can't predict what your body's going to hold on to as you're eating. You know, like your carbs might stick a little bit longer than usual.
Yeah.
You just don't know. Like you can get sick for a week and lose 8 pounds. I've done that before.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Gary, I feel you there. I know people that are in the same boat, but you can have some of my pounds. If you
I was going to say, Gary will gladly give you some of our extra weight that we have here, my friend. But, all right, guys, we're about halfway through the show now. Usually this halfway mark, definitely we like to switch it over a little bit here to pro wrestling because we are wrestling with fitness and we're all wrestling fans on this show. So I'm going to go ahead, and I know you got a big month coming up next month with Absolute Pro Wrestling. But CZ, I'm throwing a curveball here for you because this is something I kind of want to start asking our guests on the show. And it's something I ask on my show every time I have somebody on. And I don't know that I've actually talked to you about this before, so I'll be curious to see what your answer is. Who's on your Mount Rushmore?
See, I have a few different ones.
Okay.
Like obviously, like the greats. I mean, I'll go Bruno, Steve Austin, and then Flair, and then Sean. I think those are like the talents that set the tone for those time periods. And then like influences on me, like Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, Adam Bomb, Steve Austin, Bray Wyatt probably take the most influence from. And then just my favorites overall, like James Jeffries and T.S. Aggressor and Big Picture and Justin Decent. Those are like out in Iowa, like those are probably like my favorites.
Right.
Well, if I see those guys on any given day, it's a good day. So, like I said, I got so many different Mount Rushmores for different reasons. Like in-ring talent, you put like Zack Sabre Jr., Dean O'Brien, Kurt Angle, William Regal. Those guys and Dean Malenko. You can't leave him out. Those guys are also technically sound in the ring. Character-wise, you got to go Undertaker. Adam Bomb's one of my favorite characters. I feel like if you put him in the late 90s, you get a different version of that character. That'd be cool.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
Could you imagine? And it's almost surprising they didn't go this route, especially as gimmicky as it was in those early 90s. They didn't try to do like more of an evil scientist type of gimmick for him.
Yeah.
Adam Bomb and the way he looked like with those glasses and everything. I'm like, they could have done so much like evil sciencey type stuff for him that honestly would have been. So we probably would look at that now and be like, that was one of the weirdest gimmicks they ever had come. But I could have easily seen them doing that back in that time frame.
Oh yeah, he's so much like. I went back, and this was years ago. I went back and watched like most of all the Raws leading up, until like when I started watching. And he's a character that stuck out to me. So I always put him on the list because he just sticks out to me. And then like LaParca is such a cool character too. He just comes out with a chair and he starts strutting around and he stands on the chair and he's dancing on the chair. It's like, what are we doing? I love this, but it's so out there.
I will give you
the
Laparca as
chairman
long
of
as-
WCW.
What's that?
The chairman of WCW.
I will give you Laparca as long as we don't start talking about the ridiculous voiceover dubs with his Mean Gene interviews. Those were just way too off the wall.
Oh, what a time! What a time.
Now, I know Zach mentioned, some big matches coming up, especially for APW. There's one that I'm super excited about because you have a match, and I believe this is in Waterloo, with someone that I've got my eye on from the Black and the Brave. He's a Black and Brave graduate. He's been at SCW Pro. I've seen him a couple of other places, and that's Dominic Zagreus. I think that kid's got a lot of talent, and I'm anxious to see you two mix it up.
Yeah, I am too. He's the guy that stuck out to me from the moment I saw him. He looks great. He moves like he should, like a cat, and I feel like when we get in the ring, it'll be something fun to watch. I'm going to take the middle of the ring, and he's just going to have to bounce off me and then if he gets too close, I'll just throw him around, That's usually my strategy. I just throw people across the ring.
Now, we were kind of talking about this before we came on the air, and I feel like it's probably something that a lot of guys and gals in the Midwest have to deal with because from much Thanksgiving on, there's not a ton of shows that get ran here in the Midwest region. What do you think, as from a wrestler standpoint, is the hardest part about that? Obviously, you would love to be in the ring at least once a week or maybe once every other week. So obviously, that kind of has to play some type of factor to it because especially when you guys do start running shows, especially here in Iowa, you guys are running hard. I mean, there's times where there can be a show every weekend that you guys can get booked on just here in Iowa alone. So you can definitely build up that callus. But then here you go from end of November all the way through March, maybe, depending on who's running and who isn't, then your body's just kind of not going to be in that ring shape that you're used to being in.
Yeah, it drives me crazy not being in a ring. And I mean, I could go to a training facility. I know Madhouse is pretty close to me. If I need to, I can find a ring, but it just doesn't compare to a show. I think I went a couple months ago or something, and I was hanging out, and I'm like, this is cool, but I'd rather be in front of fans. So I'm 34 at this point, and I'm almost 14 years in. So saving that bump card for a show is pretty crucial at this point. And I know on March 14th, not only is it APW returning to Algona, but it's the 4th anniversary of Scott Hall's passing. And as a big Scott Hall fan, as I've mentioned, that'll be a special day for me, and I get to be in the ring with James Jeffries. And anytime my name's across the card from James Jeffries, it's going to be a good time. We haven't touched in probably 6 years in front of a crowd, so I'm curious to see how he's changed. I'm sure he's anxious to see how I've changed, but I think that match ends with me giving him a razor's edge.
Since you mentioned Scott Hall, I've got to ask you, can you give us your best hey yo?
Hey yo.
I'm glad you mentioned that Algona match with James Jeffries. I wish that Algona were not a 4-hour plus trip for me, because I would be going to those shows on a regular basis, but that's just a little far of a drive for me.
That's fair. And I'm going to counterpoint and say make one. It doesn't have to be March. I know APW will have their schedule up here soon. Just go for one. And if you make that a priority just once a year to make it to Algona to see that crowd, just to get a different feel of a wrestling crowd that isn't Black and Brave, Scott County Wrestling, that isn't live pro wrestling, that isn't Waterloo. Algona is a small town that I grew up in, graduated high school there, and it's just a different feeling when you're there. And those people are so passionate about wrestling, and I'm thankful to be a part of it. And I know when APW ran their first show there, I'm like, I want to make Algona a destination point. And if I get anything out there, if you're not familiar with an Algona APW show, please just make one. And I promise you it'll be worth the time. It'll be worth the effort of getting up there.
And I plan to. That it's definitely on my list. It's just finding the time, finding the right moment for that to make that happen. It's going to be what's tricky. So I've got so much going on in the next few months. I've got 2 trips out of town. One to Waterloo for the Hall of Fame weekend in July. One down to the St. Louis area. And I'm having cataract surgery in May and the beginning of June. Both eyes are getting cut. So
that's a lot.
I'm not excited for it.
I wouldn't be. I've taken thumbtacks before, and I'd rather take the thumbtacks again.
I understand that.
The recovery time is not as long as cataracts.
Now, are you with APW having their 2 big shows next month? Are you in both of the Rumble style matches as well?
I am, and I'm going to be number 1 in Algona.
Ooh,
nice.
I'm calling my shot now too, because any unfortunate soul that comes down that ramp is getting their tail thrown out of there as quickly as possible.
That's awesome. And I know I've talked with a couple people that go to APW shows on the regular. You're definitely a heavy favorite in both of those matches this month coming up. So
yeah, I mean, there was a time where we did the Luthez Memorial Battle Royal in Waterloo. I won that. And then
I remember. That was right. That was the year right after COVID.
Yes, and the next day we were in Des Moines. Maybe it was not the next day. Maybe it was 2 days later. There was an R Battle Royal, and I won that one too. So I'm no stranger to winning battle royals, especially like even Rochester, the last Outlaw match. I won that one. So I am no stranger to winning battle royals. So if you put your money on me, it's a safe bet.
Very excellent.
What for you coming up here this year again? We got the 2 shows here for Absolute Pro Wrestling coming up this month or next month. I mean, this month is already just a few days away already, but whatever. What else do we have to look forward to for the Death Dealer coming up? Do you have anything booked beyond this month?
Unfortunately, like there's not really like a lot for April, but like May's kind of full. June, July I'm doing Founders Day in Algona. I don't know what I'll be doing. Hopefully it'll be a title match after I win this Battle Royal. And I think it's whoever wins that Battle Royal gets a shot at the open weight title.
Okay.
So
now, could you imagine this? You win the Battle Royal in Algona, turn around, you win the Battle Royal at the end of March. You could potentially, my friend, be the new champion for APW, but also have that open weight title shot coming your way too.
Yeah, I'll be. Yeah, that's the champion, right?
Yeah,
like if I have both those belts, I'm the champion. So, and trust me,
Death Dealer 2 belts.
Yeah, and I'll defend them both every show, dude. Like I don't care. You'll see my face all over that show. I'll be broken, bruised by the end of the year, but I'm gonna still have both those belts.
All right. So since we're fantasy booking you having both of those titles, will you have a triple threat two fall match where the first fall is for one, the second fall is for the other belt?
WrestleMania 2000. Nice callback there.
One of my favorite matches.
Yeah. That was such a unique match.
That's such a weird card altogether.
Oh my God, wasn't it though?
What was it, like one singles match on the whole card?
Yeah, because
So
even the
crazy.
main event of that match was the fatal 4-way with a McMahon in every corner.
Oh, we try not to think about that.
I just got a text from Jason Prentice. He says the Shank will be taking on TTKO in Algona.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
if you want match info, there it is for you. An exclusive here on Wrestling with Fitness.
I love it.
One for if you're not familiar with TTKO, I highly suggest you head over to the Shotgun Wrestling Radio page because we had him on the show actually a couple weeks ago. So if you haven't checked that interview out with him, go do so because he's going to be one of those, I think, young up and comers here on the Iowa scene. That's going to be a name to be looking out for here over the next year and a half or so. I can't wait to see that kid's progress.
Yeah.
Cheap plug.
Sorry.
Check out Card Subject to Change also on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
All right, Death Dealer, come on, give us a plug.
Just if you want to follow me, I mostly post on my Instagram. It's at the Death Dealer _RF. I post a lot about what I have going on. I'm really focusing on March here, and my matches with James and Dom and both battle royals. So not only am I wrestling, one of the greatest of all time in Iowa history, and James Jeffries, I have to go do that battle royal from number 1. And then we'll see where I'm at in the drawing for the Winter Brawl Classic. And on top of that, I'll see Dominic in the ring, and I hope both of them are comfortable landing on the back of their heads because that's where they're going to land. I am super excited to get back in the ring. I've been itching and pacing around the house to get back in there. Even with 2 boys, it doesn't really do a whole lot for me as far as like in-ring stuff. So that's where I'm happy. And if you want to book the Death Dealer, don't hesitate but to reach out. I promise that it's a character that you'll want to have on your show. I put a lot of time, effort, and thought into that character as far as connection to the crowd. And I'm very, very selfless when it comes to what I do in ring. And obviously I'm selfless with my time because I get up at 4:30, 3:45 in the morning, go do cardio, and then go to work, and then go to the gym at 8 o'clock at night. So anybody wants from me, go ahead and hit me up. I'll take on anybody at any time.
I agree with our friend Gary there. Hopefully we'll be able to get you back in a CEW ring at some point this year. I know. I'll be honest, man. Me and Clint are always pushing for you in CEW, so that's hopefully at some point. I know we actually have a decent amount of CEW shows booked this year. Some of the stuff that Austin's been telling me, we got some pretty fun shows lined up this year, so I'm pretty excited for that to get rolling this year.
Yeah, hopefully it works out where I can pop up there. Right before, I know we're probably getting to the end of our time here, but just want to mention Bridge City last year. It really felt like I was accepted by the Central Empire fans after my match with Damian Saint, and that felt good because it felt like it was like a year in the making there, and finally it was an exception, even though I lost, but it felt like I was embraced by that crowd and that fan base. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys talking to Austin about using me more, and hopefully I can get in there too, and maybe clang Jimmy Wild and Bryce Jordan's heads together here soon.
Yeah, we're hoping. Hopefully, Bryce will be ready to go here soon. I know And Iowa Independent Wrestling is better when that guy's in the ring, man. That guy's
Yes.
just so damn talented. So I hope,
Yes.
hopefully his recovery is going well, and hopefully he'll be back on the scene too. And again, the tag team with him and Jimmy was just something different and unique, especially the way that they put the MILFs together. It was one of those like, okay, we haven't seen something like that here in Iowa in quite some time. I was excited to see where they were going to take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're both so talented and so good in the ring, and I mean, those guys have my backing anywhere who wants to use those guys too, because they are just so good.
Mm.
Let me ask you. I want to back up a little bit. You were talking about being booked anywhere you can. People wanting people to reach out to get you booked. Is there an opponent or a match or a place that is on your bucket list this year that you would like to check off?
As far as like, I think Madhouse, Darren Corbin's that heavyweight champion up there. I think sometime this year that Extreme Grand Prix championship gets cashed in, and I meet Darren Corbin in the ring for the first time. So I think on my hit list, I think he's right there at the top, and maybe his two knucklehead goons behind him are next in line. I know Malice loves those hoss fights, so I know heavy metal lore is probably on my roadmap in Madhouse.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day about Malice because as like more and more about the Hall of Fame stuff weekend kind of comes out, I always get the memories of Hall of Fame weekend flashbacks. Was it you that was in the ring with him when he took that ridiculous chair shot to the head? Was that you that gave that to him?
Yeah, that was me.
I love how much pride he does that with.
Yeah.
CZ, have you seen the chair shot that I'm talking about?
What's that?
Have you seen the chair shot that I'm talking about?
No, I'm gonna have to look for that.
All right, I will send it to you. I know I have it on my
Yes.
phone because it was one of those clips that I took out, and I say because I was filming it at the time, and it was one of the sickest chair shots I've ever heard.
Oh, I can't wait to watch that.
I know Troy. He was telling me after the show. He's like, he was outside talking to somebody. He heard that chair shot, came back inside, and it was like, maybe it was that, or because I wore the dog. I think that was the dog collar match.
Oh yeah, yep, it was. Yep.
And then the year before, it was him and I just in a regular extreme match. And I'm gonna say this too. I think IPW put the dog collar on us, so this won't happen again. I think my suicide dive for the first time on the Malice, and the crowd just went dead silent. So it's like, did somebody die? But he comes in, and I'm selling back in, and I try to pick Malice up, and I just left him out there.
I mean, it's a shame that dude's no longer in the ring because man, he gave us some really fucking fun damn moments. I mean, his feud, he had some really great feuds in Des Moines. Like, just God, the stuff that he was able to do. Like again, he was a bigger guy, so it's not like he can move the fastest. Like he kind of reminds you of like the Yoko or Earthquake type of dude who not necessarily could move the fastest, but when it came to like in-ring psychology, that dude was just tooth as nails when it came to that type of stuff.
You can either credit him or blame him for reintroducing the dog collar match back into pro wrestling. I know MJF and CM Punk want to take credit for that, but geez, it felt like Malice and I had like 80 of those things in one.
Yup.
I would, if you're going to give credit to some of the bigger names outside of us in Iowa, I wouldn't give it to MJF and Punk. I would give it to the Briscoes and FTR.
Yeah. That's such an interesting matchup too. Like who you getting tied up to, and that is an interesting matchup. But yeah, those dog collar matches are not they're not the best. Like you don't feel great afterwards. You just get beat with a chain for a while, and then I think I ended up going through chairs at at the Hall of Fame. And
Ooh.
Yep. Hey, CZ, that video is coming your way as we speak. I have it saved in my favorites, so that way I can always pull it up on a
That's
second's
awesome.
notice if I have to.
That's awesome.
I think it just came through. I'll watch that in a little bit.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, Malice is one of my favorite opponents I've had because he is. Yeah, there's certain people that when you get paired up with, you just feel like there's something there. Like there's just that connection that you can't really explain. You might not even get along with that person very well, but in the ring, it's just something that happens. And he was one of them. And hopefully he can go ahead and throw a spear in at some point in the near future. That'd be cool.
Well, we are getting real close to that hour mark. We like to keep things as close to an hour as we can. I'm going to ask you one last question, and this is something that I want to incorporate more. Whether it's in wrestling, the wrestling world, or in the fitness world, what's the best piece of advice you can give for anybody?
I mean, there's just lessons that like I just learn along the way. Like, I mean, there's tidbits. Jerry Briscoe will always say cardio is king. That's true both in ring and in fitness. Because you need a gas tank to be in the ring. And then cardio helps you out as much as it sucks to do. Like it helps you out in your day-to-day life too. So, and losing weight and doing everything. So maybe that's it. Jerry Briscoe's cardio is king.
That's good advice. So obviously, just to kind of recap, we've got the show in Algona. That is on the 14th next month. Got the show in Waterloo. Remind everybody, I know you mentioned it a little bit ago, remind everybody where we can find you on socials.
You can look me up on Facebook at The Death Dealer, and then on Instagram at The Death Dealer _RF.
Fantastic. Zach, as we kind of close things out, what do you have coming up on Shotgun? I know you mentioned something earlier. Refresh our memory there.
Yeah, coming up next week on Shotgun Wrestling Radio, we are going to have Damon and Dillinger on a podcast here next week because again, we are trying to help promote those shows for APW and our folks over at APW here next month. So again, Winter Brawl Classic, man, it's one of our favorite events.
Yes.
Originally, I wasn't planning on being there, but it's looking like I'm going to be there because it's kind of like the 1992 Royal Rumble. We're going to see a new champion crowned via a Royal Rumble. So that's going to be exciting.
And we're doing a pre-show podcast there from the event. So super excited about that. And over on the Card Subject Change side of things, we are going to be recapping everything Elimination Chamber. And I'm going to give an exclusive announcement. We have scheduled for the week after Santana Jackson coming on the show. So if you're not familiar with him, I highly recommend. He's got a fantastic gimmick, fun wrestler. So I'm excited to see him on the show in a week or two. But any closing thoughts, gentlemen, as we close things out?
Not that I can think of, man. Just hopefully everybody, no matter where you're at in your current fitness journey, hopefully you're kind of pushing through. And again, we always say it, the hardest part is getting through the door. So get through the door, the rest will fall into place.
Yep, I agree.
I'd say, yeah, just keep pushing through. Like no matter what you're feeling mentally, like there's just voices inside your head telling you to quit. You don't listen to those voices. Just keep pushing on because you might be just on the other side of looking the way you want to. And by every mile you walk, you're getting closer and closer.
Amen. Well, I want to thank you, Death Dealer, for being with us this month on Wrestling with Fitness. Very grateful to have you come on and talk about your journey. So thank you again. Appreciate you so much. For my co-host, Mr. Zach Takis, I am the Wizard CZ. Be sure to tune in to Shotgun Wrestling Radio and Card Subject to Change, but we will see you next month with another episode of Wrestling with Fitness.